My dearest child, hear these words from my heart and let them flow into your spirit, for they are life and light, and they are meant to guide you into the beauty of who you are in me. You are not an accident, nor are you here by chance. You are the work of my hands, fashioned with intention, filled with purpose, and created in love. You were made to reflect my glory and to carry the essence of my nature in your being. This nature is selfless love, the kind of love that gives without measure, that serves without expectation, and that finds joy in lifting others above oneself. My child, this is your calling, and it is in this calling that you will find the fullness of life I have prepared for you. Selflessness is the cornerstone of my kingdom and the foundation of all that is good, pure, and holy. It is not a fleeting virtue or an occasional act, but a way of life, a daily surrender, and a constant expression of my presence in you. From the very beginning, I have shown you what it means to live selflessly. When I spoke creation into existence, I did so not for myself, but for you and all humankind. The beauty of the earth, the vastness of the heavens, the abundance of life, all of it was my gift to you, a reflection of my generous and self-giving heart. Everywhere you look, my creation testifies to the power of selflessness. The sun rises each day not for its own sake, but to bring light and warmth to the earth. The rain falls not for its benefit, but to nourish the ground and bring forth life. The birds sing their songs not for themselves, but to fill the air with music and joy. All of creation exists to give, to serve, to bless. And you, my child, are no different. I have created you to be a vessel of my love, to pour out what you have received, and to be a source of life and light to others. Selflessness is not about denying your worth or suppressing your desires. On the contrary, it is about discovering the deeper purpose for which you were made. It is about living in the freedom of knowing that your value does not come from what you achieve or possess, but from who you are in me. It is about stepping into the truth that you were created not to be served, but to serve, not to seek your own gain, but to give freely of yourself, just as I have given freely to you. Look to my Son, the perfect example of selflessness. Though he was with me in glory, he did not cling to his status or power, but chose to humble himself and take on the form of a servant. He walked among you, healing the sick, feeding the hungry, and comforting the brokenhearted. He sought out the lost, welcomed the outcast, and forgave the sinner. And in the greatest act of selflessness, he laid down his life for you, taking upon himself the burden of sin so that you might have life and have it abundantly. This is the power of selflessness, a power that redeems, restores, and transforms. When you choose to walk in selflessness, you align yourself with my heart and my purposes. You become a reflection of my love, a beacon of hope, and an agent of change in a world that desperately needs me. Every act of selflessness, no matter how small, carries eternal significance. A kind word, a helping hand, a moment of listening, a sacrifice made in secret, these are not insignificant. They are seeds sown in the soil of eternity, seeds that will bear fruit in ways you cannot yet see. Do not be discouraged when selflessness feels difficult, for it often will. There will be times when the needs around you seem overwhelming, when your efforts go unnoticed, and when your strength feels insufficient. But remember, my child, that you are not alone. I am with you, and my Spirit is at work within you, empowering you to do what you cannot do on your own. When you feel weak, lean on me, for my grace is sufficient for you, and my power is made perfect in your weakness. When you feel empty, come to me, and I will fill you with my love. When you feel unseen, know that I see you, and I delight in you. Selflessness is a journey of faith, a daily surrender to my will, and a constant reliance on my strength. It requires trust, for it often means letting go of your own plans and desires to embrace my greater purpose. It requires humility, for it calls you to consider others above yourself. And it requires courage, for it goes against the grain of a world that exalts self-interest and personal gain. But take heart, my child, for I am with you every step of the way. I will guide you, sustain you, and provide for you as you walk this path. There is no act of selflessness too small or too insignificant to matter. Each one is a thread in the tapestry of my kingdom, a kingdom where love reigns, where the last are first, and where the greatest is the one who serves. Your selflessness is not in vain, for it reflects my glory and draws others to me. Even when you do not see the fruit of your labor, trust that I am working through you in ways beyond your understanding. My son, the world may tell you that selflessness is foolish, that it is a weakness to be exploited, and that it leads to loss. But I tell you the truth, selflessness is the greatest strength, the highest wisdom, and the path to true abundance. For what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and yet forfeit his soul? The treasures of this world are fleeting, but the treasures of heaven are eternal. When you give of yourself, you store up treasures in heaven where neither moth nor rust can destroy, where thieves cannot break in and steal. Do not fear to give freely, to love deeply, and to serve wholeheartedly. Do not hold back out of fear of losing what you have, for I am your provider, and I will supply all your needs according to my riches and glory. Do not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time, you will reap a harvest if you do not give up. And do not underestimate the impact of your selflessness, for it is through ordinary people like you, filled with my Spirit, that I am transforming the world. So go forth, my beloved child, and let your life be a testament to the power of selflessness. Love as I have loved you. Serve as my son served. Give as I have given. And as you do, you will experience the joy of living a life that is not your own, a life that is hidden in me, a life that is abundant and eternal. This is my promise to you, that as you pour yourself out for others, I will pour myself into you. As you lose your life for my sake, you will find it. And when the day comes when you stand before me, you will hear the words, "Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your Lord." This is your inheritance, your destiny, and your hope. Embrace it with all your heart, for it is the way of life abundant and everlasting. My precious child, let my words settle deeply into your soul, for they are life and truth. From the moment I formed you, I wove into your being a reflection of my own nature. You were created in love, for love, and to share love. At the core of this love lies selflessness, an eternal and unshakable virtue that mirrors my heart and reveals the glory of my kingdom. This path of selflessness is not merely an instruction I give, but an invitation to step into the fullness of life and purpose for which I created you. It is a calling, a mission, and a sacred gift. Before time began, I existed as perfect love, and my love has always been self-giving. It was out of my love that I spoke the universe into existence, shaping every star, every mountain, every sea, and every life with intention and care. Every sunrise that graces the earth is a reflection of my generosity. The rain that waters the land, the air that fills your lungs, the heartbeat that sustains you, all are gifts freely given, signs of my selfless nature poured out for you. And just as creation testifies to my love, so too does my Son, Jesus Christ, who embodied the ultimate act of selflessness. Consider the life of my Son, who, though he was with me in eternal glory, chose to humble himself, taking on the form of a servant. He lived among you, walking the dusty roads, sharing in your struggles, and bearing your burdens. His life was not marked by seeking his own comfort, but by giving freely of himself. He healed the sick, fed the hungry, restored the broken, and embraced the outcast. And though he deserved all honor and praise, he willingly endured the scorn of the world, suffering even unto death. Why? Because his love for you was greater than his own comfort, and his desire for your salvation outweighed the pain of the cross. This is selflessness in its purest form, a love so powerful that it sacrifices everything for the sake of others. My child, you were created to walk in this same selflessness, to reflect my love and to be my hands and feet in the world. This is not a path of ease but a path of purpose. It requires you to look beyond yourself, to see the needs of others, and to respond with compassion. It calls you to lay down your own desires, to give generously, and to serve wholeheartedly. But as you do, you will discover a life that is richer and more meaningful than anything the world can offer. The world will tell you that selflessness is foolish, that you must look out for yourself, guard what you have, and prioritize your own success. But my ways are not the ways of the world. My ways are higher, greater, and eternal. The world chases after temporary treasures, but I call you to store up treasures in heaven. The world seeks to exalt itself, but I call you to humble yourself. The world seeks power, but I call you to serve. And in doing so, you will find a joy that the world cannot understand, a joy that comes from living a life that is aligned with my will. Selflessness is not about denying your worth or ignoring your needs. I see you, my child, and I care deeply about your heart, your dreams, and your struggles. Selflessness is not about neglecting yourself, but about trusting me to provide for you as you pour yourself out for others. It is about living in the freedom of knowing that your worth is secure in me and that you do not need to strive for recognition or approval. It is about releasing the grip of selfish desires and embracing the freedom that comes from living for something greater than yourself. When you choose to walk in selflessness, you become a vessel of my love, a reflection of my heart, and an instrument of my grace. Every act of selflessness, no matter how small, carries eternal significance. The world may not notice when you give of your time, your resources, or your energy, but I see it all. Every kind word, every act of service, every sacrifice made in secret is precious to me. These acts are seeds planted in the soil of eternity, seeds that will bear fruit in ways you may never fully see in this life. There will be moments when selflessness feels difficult, when the needs around you seem overwhelming, and when you feel like you have nothing left to give. But remember this, you are not alone. I am with you, and my Spirit is at work within you, empowering you to do what you cannot do on your own. When you feel weak, my strength will sustain you. When you feel empty, I will fill you with my love. When you feel overlooked, know that I see you and delight in you. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Selflessness is not about perfection, but about faithfulness. It is not about doing everything, but about being obedient to the opportunities one placed before you. There will be times when you stumble, when your heart grows weary, and when you feel like you have failed. In those moments, come to me. My grace is sufficient for you, and my power is made perfect in your weakness. I do not ask you to be perfect, I ask you to be willing. I will take your willingness and use it to accomplish more than you could ever ask or imagine. Do not be discouraged when your efforts seem small or insignificant. Just as a single drop of water can create ripples that reach far beyond its point of entry, so too can your acts of selflessness have a far-reaching impact. You may never see the full extent of what your love accomplishes, but trust that I am working through you in ways that are greater than you can comprehend. Your selflessness is part of my greater plan, a plan to redeem, restore, and transform the world. My child, selflessness is not weakness but strength. It is not loss but gain. For in giving, you will receive. In serving, you will find fulfillment. In laying down your life, you will discover the fullness of life that I have prepared for you. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and yet forfeit his soul? The treasures of this world are fleeting, but the treasures of heaven are eternal. When you live a life of selflessness, you are storing up treasures in heaven, treasures that no thief can steal and no moth can destroy. You were created to shine my light in the darkness, to be my hands and feet to a hurting world, and to carry my love to those who need it most. There is no greater calling, no higher purpose, and no deeper joy than to live a life of selflessness. This is the life I have called you to, and this is the life that will bring you the greatest fulfillment. So go forth, my beloved child, and let your life be a testament to the power of selflessness. Love as I have loved you. Serve as my Son served. Give as I have given. And as you do, know that I am with you always, to the very end of the age. I am your strength, your provider, your guide, and your refuge. In me, you have all that you need to live a life of love, service, and purpose. This is my promise to you. As you pour yourself out for others, I will pour myself into you. As you lose your life for my sake, you will find it. And when the day comes when you stand before me, you will hear the words, "Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your Lord." This is your inheritance, your destiny, and your eternal reward. Embrace it with all your heart, for it is the way of life abundant and everlasting. My beloved child, in the vast expanse of time and space, there is a unique and beautiful place that only you can fill, for I crafted you with precision, love, and purpose. You are no accident, no mere product of chance. You are my beloved creation, my masterpiece, and my joy. And it is to you, my precious child, that I speak these words, words of truth, life, and hope. Let them take root in your heart, for they carry the power to transform not only your life, but the lives of those around you. From the dawn of creation, I wove into the fabric of existence a profound truth, that true joy, fulfillment, and purpose are found not in seeking your own gain, but in giving of yourself for others. This truth is written in the stars, sung by the birds, and whispered by the wind. It is visible in every corner of creation. The rivers flow not for themselves, but to bring life to the earth. The sun rises each day not for its own glory, but to warm and light the world. Even the tiniest flower blooms in a hidden field, not for its own sake, but to display beauty for those who may never see it. This is the essence of selflessness, the giving of oneself for the benefit of another. It is the heart of who I am and the cornerstone of my kingdom. When I formed you, I placed within you the capacity for this kind of love, for you were created in my image. This selflessness is not a burden I place upon you, but a gift, an invitation to experience the fullness of life as I intended it to be. Look to the example of my Son, Jesus, who walked among you as the embodiment of selfless love. Though he was with me in glory, he chose to humble himself, to take on flesh, and to dwell among you. His life was a testament to the power of selflessness. He healed the sick, fed the hungry, comforted the brokenhearted, and forgave the sinner. He sought out the lost, welcomed the outcast, and stood as an advocate for the oppressed. And in the greatest act of love, he laid down his life for you, taking upon himself the weight of your sin so that you might be reconciled to me. This, my child, is the model I call you to follow, not because I demand it, but because I desire for you to experience the joy, freedom, and purpose that come from living a life of love. Selflessness is not about denying your value or neglecting your needs. On the contrary, it is about discovering your true worth as one who is deeply loved by me and embracing the opportunity to share that love with others. It is about living with open hands and an open heart, trusting that as you pour yourself out, I will fill you with all that you need. There will be times when this calling feels difficult, when the demands of life weigh heavily upon you, and when the world's pursuit of selfish gain tempts you to hold tightly to what you have. But remember, my child, that my ways are not the ways of the world. The world tells you to seek your own happiness, to prioritize your comfort, and to accumulate as much as you can. But I tell you the truth, happiness that depends on self-interest is fleeting, and treasures stored on earth are temporary. True joy is found in giving, and the treasures of heaven are eternal. Do not be discouraged when your acts of selflessness go unnoticed or unappreciated. I see every act of kindness, every moment of sacrifice, and every effort you make to serve others. Even the smallest gesture, a word of encouragement, a helping hand, or a silent prayer, carries eternal significance. These acts are like seeds planted in fertile soil. Though you may not see the harvest, trust that I am working through you to bring forth fruit that will last. As you walk this path of selflessness, know that you are not alone. I am with you every step of the way, strengthening you, guiding you, and sustaining you. When you feel weary, lean on me, for I am your refuge and your strength. When you feel empty, come to me, and I will fill you with my spirit. When you feel inadequate, remember that my power is made perfect in your weakness. I do not ask you to do this on your own. I ask you to trust me and to allow me to work through you. Selflessness is not a destination, but a journey, one that requires daily surrender and a continual reliance on my grace. It is a journey of faith, for it often means stepping out of your comfort zone, letting go of your own plans, and embracing my greater purpose. It is a journey of humility, for it calls you to put others before yourself and to seek their good above your own. And it is a journey of courage, for it goes against the grain of a world that exalts self-interest and personal ambition. But take heart, my child, for this journey is worth it. As you walk in selflessness, you will experience a joy that surpasses understanding, a peace that transcends circumstances, and a sense of purpose that fills your heart with hope. You will become a light in the darkness, a source of hope to the weary, and a reflection of my love to the world. Do not fear to give generously, to love deeply, and to serve wholeheartedly. Do not hold back out of fear of losing what you have, for I am your provider, and I will supply all your needs according to my riches and glory. Do not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time, you will reap a harvest if you do not give up. Remember this, my beloved child, selflessness is not about what you give up, but about what you gain. In giving, you will receive. In serving, you will find fulfillment. In laying down your life, you will discover the abundant life I have prepared for you. And when the day comes when you stand before me, you will hear the words, "Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your Lord." This is my promise to you, as you pour yourself out for others, I will pour myself into you. As you lose your life for my sake, you will find it. This is your calling, your purpose, and your hope. Embrace it with all your heart, for it is the way of life abundant and everlasting. My precious and beloved child, I have called you by name, and you are mine. I formed you with my own hands, knitting together every part of your being with love and care. You are my masterpiece, my delight, and the crown of my creation. You were created not by accident, but with a divine purpose, woven into the tapestry of my eternal plan. From the moment I breathed life into you, I placed within you a spark of my own nature, a reflection of my glory, a heart capable of selfless love, and a soul that yearns for something greater than what this world offers. My child, hear these words today as a testament to who you are in me and the life I have prepared for you. From the foundations of the earth, I have shown you the beauty of selflessness. All of creation exists not for itself but for the benefit of others. The sun rises each morning to light the world, offering its warmth and energy to sustain life. The rivers flow tirelessly to nourish the land, quenching the thirst of every living thing. The trees stretch their branches toward the heavens, providing shade, shelter, and sustenance. Even the smallest creatures, unnoticed and unseen, play their part in the grand design of life. Creation sings a symphony of selflessness, reflecting my heart and my ways. Above all, I gave you my greatest gift, my Son, Jesus Christ. In Him, you see the perfection of selflessness, a life lived not for himself but for the sake of others. Though He was with me in glory, He chose to humble Himself, taking on the form of a servant. He walked the earth, healing the sick, feeding the hungry, comforting the brokenhearted, and bringing hope to the hopeless. He sought out the lost, welcomed the outcast, and forgave those who had wronged Him. And in the ultimate act of selflessness, He laid down His life on the cross, bearing the weight of the world's sin so that you might be reconciled to me. This is the power of selflessness, a power that transforms, redeems, and restores. My Son's life and sacrifice were not acts of weakness but of unimaginable strength, rooted in a love that knows no bounds. And my child, this same love now dwells within you. By the power of my Spirit, you are called to walk in the footsteps of my Son, to live a life of selflessness, and to be a reflection of my love to the world. Selflessness is not a burden I place upon you, but a gift I offer to you. It is not a call to deny your worth or ignore your needs, but an invitation to step into the fullness of life as I intended it to be. You were not created to live for yourself alone. You were made to be part of something greater, to share in my work of redemption, and to bring my light to a world in need. When you choose to live selflessly, you align yourself with my purposes, and your life becomes a channel through which my love flows to others. My child, the path of selflessness is not always easy. It requires you to surrender your own desires, to let go of the need for recognition, and to trust me with your heart and your future. There will be times when the cost feels great, when the demands on your time and energy seem overwhelming, and when the needs around you weigh heavily upon your shoulders. But know this, you are never alone. I am with you, strengthening you, guiding you, and providing for you. When you feel weak, lean on me, for my grace is sufficient for you, and my power is made perfect in your weakness. When you feel empty, come to me, and I will fill you with my Spirit. When you feel unseen, remember that I see you, and I delight in you. Selflessness is not about achieving perfection, but about walking in faithfulness. It is not about doing everything, but about being obedient to the opportunities one placed before you. It is about opening your heart to the people I bring into your life, seeing them with my eyes, and loving them with my love. It is about choosing to give even when it costs you something, to serve even when it is inconvenient, and to forgive even when it is difficult. And in doing so, you will discover a joy that surpasses understanding, a peace that transcends circumstances, and a sense of purpose that fills your soul.